Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on the channel, to talk about some NBA news. I done a wrestling news video, so if you haven't watched that, go check that out. I recapped the Dodgers game from today, their game, so tune in that. And if you haven't watched my NBA Finals preview for the finals, who I think will win, I didn't tell you who I think will win, but you can think. I didn't get my prediction, kind of forgot about, but I'll say the Nuggets winning in 5. So if you haven't watched that, go watch that. I gave all my stuff, what I thought. Let's get to the NBA news. So Jeff Van Gundy, this is via The Athletic, and he talked about on how he would fix the NBA. Quote, eliminate free throws until the last 4 minutes. If you get fouled in a shooting foul, you just get the points. You don't go to the line. And you don't go to the line for technical free throws. They're just points. Then I would eliminate halftime. I think halftime is the biggest waste of time, or I'd reduce it to 5 minutes so you can go to the bathroom and come back out. End quote. Via The Athletic. No. He had me on the first sentence and then lost me the rest of the way. This is a dumbass idea. It had my attention, then I kind of lost interest. This is a single-handedly the worst idea I've heard. Like, Embiid and Giannis would average like 45 in the regular season. This is a horrible idea. Teams would average like 300 points per game. Like, has this dude ever had a good take? I mean, maybe one where he's talking about the transition take foul, which they have, but other than that, I swear he doesn't have a good idea. Like, the fuck is this idea? Maybe it's sort of interesting, but this is a terrible idea. Who let this dude cook? He talks more about changing rules than basketball on commentary. Like, this dude, this is all he talks about. Like, he yaps the whole fucking review. Or during a game. Like, I just can't stand this dude, man. Like, this is the worst proposal I've ever watched. And free throws, yes, I get they're boring to watch, but Jesus Christ, this is a horrible idea. Like, who does this dude think he is? Thank God he isn't the commissioner. And this would basically give the referees more power to rig the games and never let this man have a decision. But I do agree with eliminating halftime. I will agree with that. What Damian Lillard said, like, I'm with him on the halftime thing, because I don't fuck with halftime. I feel like halftime is mostly for the fans, like, to get snacks and go to the bathroom. And for the players, they gotta take like a breather as well. But it's probably for the money and ad revenue, most likely. But halftime's kind of pointless, because there's multiple timeouts during the game where players can get breathers, or you can sub out for a few minutes. Halftime is just pointless. It's mostly for ad revenue, probably, and so the fans can go take a piss. But yeah. But I don't agree with Jeff Van Gundy on the free throws thing, but I'll agree with the halftime thing. So the NBA Finals are just around the corner, which are starting tomorrow, the 2023 NBA Finals, which I will cover all the games in the NBA Finals until the series is over. And the Denver Nuggets, Miami Heat preparing for a best-of-7 series, probably be like a 4-0 or 4-1. And a 1 versus 8 seed, you never know, anything's possible. The Heat could win this series, but I just don't see it. VSPN, Jimmy Butler, he said plans to retire a Heat. A Heatle. And people ask, why is it Heatle? Heatle was supposed to be Braun, Wade, and Bosch, and why is still used today. So that's why he says he plans to retire Heatle. Say, quote, it'll be the last jersey that I wear via ESPN. He'll go down as a top 5 Heat player of all time, just leading this 8-seeded team to the NBA Finals. And he's carried the Heat the last few seasons. Jimmy W. And he loves that Heat culture. You gotta love that loyalty from Jimmy Butler. Because he could easily could have just say, nah, you're retired, I'm gonna leave, go somewhere else. But he's gonna stay with that team. And Heat fans definitely probably want him to retire there too. But 22 should go to the rafters. They should retire 22. Y'all love that Heat culture over there. I think he'll win a ring. Maybe. I mean, this year's possible, but the Nuggets team is just so deep. But I mean, the Heat are too. It's just the Nuggets have better talent and more rest. Caleb Martin on the Heat's game plan to force Jaylen Brown left, quote, that's always the game plan, end quote, via the Lebitard show. Will Jaylen Brown probably work on that this summer, dribbling left? Yeah, probably not. He just can't dribble left. Like, every time he tries to dribble left, he turns the ball over. And the Heat just had a very strategized defensive game plan. And it'll be very fun to see how they continue to strategize defensively against the most fundamentally sound offense in the league in the Denver Nuggets. And I can't think of anything right now, but hey, I'm not Eric Spoelstra. I'm not a top 5 coach of all time. Even if you were to get swept, they were an 8 seed. Nobody expected them to get this far. I'd be happy that if I was a Heat fan, I'd be happy they even made it to the finals. But yeah, the dude literally has like center handles and thinks he's like, literally thinks he deserves the max. He doesn't deserve the max. Markelle Fultz and the Sixers via Knuckleheads. Quote, I wish I had a chance to help them because I really feel like I could have helped them win if they were patient and let me get healthy. And quote, yeah, remember he was a rookie on that team. He was injured, really injured. And they just weren't patient with him. Didn't let him get healthy, let him go. And it's funny how Markelle is now better than Ben Simmons. The Sixers at first probably thinking, oh, Ben Simmons is going to be our future. But he's turned out not to be. They traded him, and Markelle Fultz has done pretty good in Orlando. And I think he's right. I think he would have helped him more. I mean, he's a pretty good role player for the Magic. I think this is very true, because I think he's played a lot better for the Magic. Jimmy Butler says he's not using an injured ankle as an excuse, being Anthony Chang. Quote, nobody cares. You don't either. If I'm still expected to do my job at a high level, if I take the floor, which I will, we're going to be okay. We're going to get the job done, bum ankle or not. End quote. So he was asked if his ankle is 100%. He said nobody cares. He turned it pretty good versus the Knicks, and then again. Ankles don't magically heal to while you can continue to play. Like, he's injured with an ankle. People say, oh, he's not injured. He's injured. There's probably still lasting effects because ankles don't heal magically. I've sprained my ankle before. They don't heal magically while you continue to play. Because you're injured. But you're only able to really to finish games like that is because of the adrenaline. And Jason Tatum should learn from this not to try and hobble on his ankle and give that as an excuse to why they lost. That's the difference between Jason Tatum and Jimmy Butler. That's a difference between a leader right there and Jimmy Butler and Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum using that ankle as an excuse while Mr. Jimmy Butler's not. That's a real leader. I would prefer Jimmy Butler on my team because he's a real leader. Brian Windhorst says the Miami Heat make a lot of sense if Damian Lillard were to become available. That would be a really good pairing. Like Damian Lillard and Jimmy Butler would be fire because would be a whole lot of grit on one team with just those two. So that would just with those two, that would be just straight fire. What? But I don't know if he's gonna go to the Heat. Except they don't have the trade assets other teams have for Dame. He isn't like it's tiring. Simply isn't going to happen. Like every year, it's Damian Lillard's going to leave. Damian Lillard's going to leave. It's just every year, and at this point, I don't think it's going to happen. But I'm here for this. Jimmy Butler, Damian Lillard. That'd be a good 1-2 duo in Miami. Stephen A. Smith, he takes offense when a co-host ranks Jimmy Butler over Jaylen Brown. Stephen A. is there for entertainment. He's not real takes. I would rank Jimmy Butler over Jaylen Brown. Maybe Jason Tatum too. Stephen A. doesn't know ball. Dude's literally just a personality. And Jimmy over Jaylen Brown, and it's not even close. He outplayed Jaylen this whole series. And I'm taking him over Tatum and Brown, honestly. They can make all the excuses they want. For Game 7, they should have never been down 3-0 to begin with. And Jaylen Brown isn't even better than Caleb Martin at this rate. It's not posting Stephen A. Smith. We don't give a shit what he says. Fred VanVleet. He's emerged as a potential replacement for James Harden in Philadelphia per Brett Siegel, NBA. So Nick Nurse, that's his recruiting pitch to Fred VanVleet. Is, Nick Nurse has recently been hired by the Philadelphia 76ers, and it honestly could be a better move for the Sixers than pouring that money into James Harden, is to recruit Fred VanVleet to that team. Which is smart, because VanVleet knows what Nurse wants and can execute. And Nick Nurse and Fred will never leave each other as coach, it seems. Stephen A. Smith, he leaves Nikola Jokic off his Supermax list. He has 1, Steph Curry, 2, LeBron James. LeBron James with the players worthy of a Supermax? What? Giannis 3, Luka 4, and Jason Tatum 5. I understand Steph Curry, because he still has probably 3-4 years left. But LeBron, though, over Jokic? And also, LeBron, dude, it's 2023. LeBron's not getting a Supermax at this point. Stephen A. is literally an idiot. This is an L. The Boston Celtics are expected to lose 3 assistant coaches to Ime Udoka's staff in Houston. Ime Udoka's now in Houston, and it seems like the Boston Celtics are going to lose 3 assistant coaches. Most likely, they're going to follow Ime Udoka to Houston. And the Celtics did him so dirty, it was a personal issue, not a workplace issue. Well, you kind of slept with 3 female employees. Impregnating one who was married is kind of an issue, though. So, I understand both sides. But things are already getting crazy. And I felt Jaylen Brown might follow him, those assistants to Houston. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. Jaylen Brown to Houston. Report, Lakers would prefer to use D'Angelo Russell in a signing trade. Parents say, he saved their season just to get traded. Oh, garbage organization. Dude is literally trash. He averaged 6 points in the Western Conference Finals. He's not good. He always disappears in big games. And but this, I don't know. We'll see if they use him in a sign and trade. They might just let him go to free agency. Jay Williams doesn't have Miami as a title contender next year. His top 5 was Denver, Milwaukee, Phoenix, Philadelphia, and Boston. That's their 3rd Eastern Conference Finals in 4 years and 2nd Finals in 4 years, but people say they're lucky. But no one has won this year, and look what happened. They're in the NBA Finals this year. And he really thinks the Sixers are going to be that good in 2024. They're going to choke. They choke always when it matters. His opinion is irrelevant. This year's Eastern Conference Finals, Game 7 was the highest viewed Eastern Conference Finals game ever on TNT, per Richard Distich. A record amount of people saw the Celtics fold and their 2-star players choke. Man, that's tragic. Everyone loves a good underdog story on the Miami Heat. The Mavericks are unlikely to draft Grady Dick. He's gonna fall in the draft maybe, but he's one of the most underrated players in this draft class. He was really as a freshman at Kansas. Williams has agreed to a 6-year, $78.5 million contract with the Detroit Pistons, who is telling me it's the largest coaching deal in NBA history. But man, this could be a good opportunity to coach a young team over there in Detroit with a bunch of good young talent. And I think Monty Williams doesn't give enough credit. I know he folding some big playoff games for the Suns, but I think he'll be fine. I know it's a large contract deal. They have a bright future. We can't judge this contract yet, 6 years, $78 million, until it actually happens. But they have a bright future, though. That's all safe for this video, though. Until next time, Peace.